communication, those of you who are wives, be careful the way you dress in the night. When my wife and I go into bed, the way she dress, her dress is trying to talk to me. And so wives, you must know that your body belongs to Jesus and your own husband. It's a sin for you to sleep with a strange woman apart from your wife. If you say I'm not in the mood, what do you mean? If you are not in the mood, he is in the mood now. Give it to him. So you have about 4 billion women. You are supposed to marry one. The whole world is at your disposal. Don't make mistake. Why will you go for somebody's leftover? Don't go for leftover.
Thinking and seeking answers. Are you single, married, or in a relationship? Do you have challenges bringing up your children in the godly way? Do you have challenges in your marriage? Then join us this very Saturday and every other Saturday at 7 p.m. on Family Matters, Peace Chapel, Facebook Live, and your family will take a good turn. Family Matters, redefining your homes.
If somebody leaves you and comes back, and you just left me to marry, and when the marriage got tougher and tougher, you are coming back, foul through. Men marry with their eyes, whereas women, they marry with their ears. So when it comes to communication, those of you who are wives, be careful the way you dress in the night. When my wife and I go into bed, the way she dress, her dress is trying to talk to me. And so wives, you must know that your body belongs to Jesus and your own husband. It's a sin for you to sleep with a strange woman apart from your wife. If you say I'm not in the mood, what do you mean? If you are not in the mood, he is in the mood now. Give it to him. So you have about 4 billion women. You are supposed to marry one. The whole world is at your disposal. Don't make mistake. Why will you go for somebody's leftover? Don't go for leftover.
You are wondering, thinking and seeking answers. Are you single, married, or in a relationship? Do you have challenges bringing up your children in the godly way? Do you have challenges in your marriage? Then join us this very Saturday and every other Saturday at 7 p.m. on Family Matters, Peace Chapel, Facebook Live, and your family will take a good turn. Family Matters, redefining your homes.
You're welcome back. It's Family Matters, and on today's topic is Chronicles of a Pastor's Wife. And to help me to discuss and understand this topic today, we have 2 guests. The first guest is a trained teacher and a pastor's wife. She is Mrs. Ellen Buahin. Mrs. Ellen Buahin, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Our second guest is a caterer and a pastor's wife. She is Mrs. Sharon Yeboah. Mrs. Yeboah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
A pastor's wife, has it always been a dream or a wish or a calling to marry a pastor? What is your idea? So to Mrs. Helen Buahin, our first question for tonight. Have you always wanted to marry a pastor?
Thank you very much for the question. Nah, I've never dreamt of marrying a pastor. It had never been my dream. And I never knew I would marry a pastor. Just that I have passion for the work of God. But to have that in mind that I want to marry a pastor in future, no, I never thought of that.
Wow. So it has never been a dream?
Never at all.
Oh, okay. So on to Sharon. Has it always been a dream?
Yes, it has, because growing up, I was singing in church from age 16. I was virtually in church all the time. So I always wanted to marry someone who will share in my passion.
Okay.
Because I always thought that if I don't marry the right person and somebody who loves God the way I love God, it's going to be a problem because I was spending so much time in church. So it's something deep inside of me I really wanted to do.
Thank you. Auntie Helen, what does it mean to be a pastor's wife? To be a pastor's wife. What does it mean to be a pastor's wife?
Thank you very much for the question. To be a pastor's wife is very interesting.
Wow.
And then, first of all, you only have to know that you are a woman, not per se being a pastor's wife.
Okay.
Because I'm a woman first,
Okay.
before getting married to a pastor.
Okay.
And I'm a Christian.
Yes.
So even if you are a pastor's wife, what you need to do is to be a good wife.
Okay.
Not necessarily being a pastor's wife. But once you are a Christian and you are married to a pastor, then I think there isn't any vast difference between somebody who is married to normal man, if I should put it that way,
Okay.
and that of the one married to a pastor.
Okay.
Because if it comes to prayers, you need to pray as a Christian.
Okay.
If you have to respect your husband, you need to respect your husband.
Okay.
So all these things, when it comes to play, then you know that, yes, you are a good wife.
Okay.
And once you are a good wife and you are married to a pastor, the little difference I can only see is that our men or our husbands don't really have time so much for the family, but with the other side, they are always at home.
Okay.
So being a wife of a pastor, you have a huge responsibility.
All right.
Because your first call is your family. Your first call
Call is your family.
is your family.
Okay.
And to take good care of your family so that your children will not go astray. That is a very huge responsibility.
Okay.
Because your husband will not always be available for you.
Okay. So being a pastor's wife is a little bit a great task because you have an extra duty. You're taking care of the husband, you're taking care of the home, then the church come in as well.
Exactly.
Okay. So a pastor's wife is not an easy task at all. It's a great task. So, Auntie Sharon, is there a role for a pastor's wife at church and at home?
Most definitely, there is. A pastor's wife is not just a wife, you are a mother.
Okay.
You're a mother to your husband,
Yes.
a mother to your children,
Wow.
and a mother to all the church members.
Okay.
So when you're a pastor's wife, there's so much that you need to take up and make sure that you do it and do it well. So it gives you a larger responsibility than a normal person in a normal marriage.
Okay. So a pastor's wife has an extra tax to the church, to the home, and to the society at large. All right. Mrs. Boahin,
Hello?
should a pastor's wife have special qualities? Because when we come into our normal world, a man will say, I want to marry a woman who is like this, I want to marry a woman who is like that. When it comes to a pastor's wife, should we have special qualities before getting married to a pastor?
Yes, I can say yes. Because every woman has special qualities.
Okay.
And at first I did not know.
Okay.
But later on, when I got married to a pastor, I realized that you need some qualities before you can fit in there.
Shoes to be a
Yes.
pastor's wife.
Like
Okay.
talking of being patient. If you're a pastor's wife, you need to be patient at all times.
Okay.
Because if you don't have the patience, there is no way you can be accommodated in the house.
Okay.
Because there are certain expectations that you need in life which might not be forthcoming.
All right.
But with time, when you have patience and you know it is a fruit of the Spirit.
Okay.
Then you know once you are a Christian, you have these fruits within you. Then you must exhibit it.
Okay.
You wait on God, you pray, so that this, whatever you look forward in the marriage will come to fruition.
Fine. Okay.
Because if you don't have patience, this is a quality everyone needs.
All right.
And this one that we talk of flexibility, like if you're a pastor's wife, a quality of flexibility come to play.
Okay.
Yeah, when we talk of flexibility, this is not a matter of being fragile or being vulnerable, but you must be flexible on everything that you do.
Okay.
Not about freaking type, but you have to always relax in your doing. Know that the Lord is in control.
Okay.
That's why the Bible says, I can do all things.
All right.
Philippians chapter 4. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
All right.
Because you can't do it with your own power. You need to wait on God, be flexible, and then God, in His own wisdom, will let everything flow for you.
Okay.
So you need to have these qualities in you so that you can move on.
Okay.
Other than that, there is no way you can be in that position.
Okay. And Sharon, should a pastor's wife have a special qualities?
Yes, a pastor's wife should have loads of special qualities. A pastor's wife needs to have integrity,
Okay.
which is very, very, very important.
All right.
Your yes should be your yes, and your no should be your no.
Okay.
Because if you're a mother to all these people that we are talking about, you need to be upright yourself
Okay.
so that you can correct people
Okay.
in their daily dealings. A pastor's wife needs to be extra, extra patient. We come into contact with so many kinds of people with different temperaments, with different characters, and you need to also be accommodating to be able to accept every individual the way they are,
Okay.
because they will all not be the same. It's like when you have children. Every child is different,
Yes.
and you relate to every child in a different manner.
All right.
So you need to accommodate people. You need to be very, very truthful
Okay.
and faithful to your
Okay.
calling. And I believe that is some of the qualities that can help you.
Okay. So, the special qualities of a pastor. Both guests says you have to be patient. You have to have integrity. You should not be a freaky type. So, as a pastor's wife, that is some of the special qualities you should get. Mrs. Wahin, please, is a pastor's wife a calling?
Thank you very much. Pastor's wife is a calling.
Okay.
But I sometimes ask, what about those whose husbands were not pastors before they got married to them?
Okay.
So when it comes to that, what do we do? But fortunately for me, my husband was a pastor before I got married to him.
All right.
So when he proposed, I knew I have also been called,
Okay.
because I'm called to be a helper to him.
Okay.
If you don't have that spirit in you, there is no way you can be in that position of being a pastor's wife.
Okay.
I must be an understanding woman
Okay.
to be able to marry a pastor.
Pastor. Okay.
If you don't know the word, being a pastor's wife will be difficult for you.
All right.
And it's not everything that you need to complain, but you need to go before your knees and your God.
Okay.
Always on your knees to pray to God.
Okay.
But if I have not had that calling, how would I be able to tell God about my problems or pray for my husband?
Okay.
Because I must support him at all costs.
Okay.
Because he has to succeed. If he succeeds, I have succeeded.
All right.
But if he fails, I have failed him.
Failed too.
So I will be there for him
Okay.
at all time. But if the calling is not there, and marriage itself, I was told by my bishop some time ago when I was having my counseling, that marriage itself is a calling.
Okay.
Because it's not everybody who is a marriage material.
Yes.
And when you are attached to a pastor, then your calling is what? Complete.
Please. Okay.
Yes. So, pastors' wives, always you have to have it at the back of your mind that it is a calling.
Okay.
You always wait on God. Listen to God more than other people. People expect so much from you.
Yes.
But are you doing it to please God? Are they the people who called you? Look up to God.
God. Okay.
Because He has called you.
All
and
right.
He will accomplish it.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Mrs. Yeboah, how can one know they are called to be a pastor's wife?
Well, that's a difficult one. But a pastor's wife, if you are an accommodating person, but the first of all is actually your relationship with God. If you have a good relationship with God, and you are an accommodating person, and you are a patient person, okay, because you tend to come into contact with so many people, as I said earlier, and you have to try and cope with everybody. So I feel that if you have most of these qualities, as Mommy said, you can marry a pastor easily without any problem. Yes.
Okay. All right. Mrs. Wahi, are there any preparations made towards being a pastor's wife?
Really?
There are?
Preparation made towards being a pastor's wife.
And when it comes
So
to
that
normal marriage.
there are people who are born to be pastor's wife. This is serious. Because every woman has to be prepared for marriage. And once I'm going to marry a pastor, even in Peace Chapel here, when someone is getting married to a pastor, the senior wives, or those who have married already, we used to counsel them secretly.
All right.
Apart from having their normal counseling.
Okay.
For instance, you'll be expecting something, but we need to tell you what is at stake there.
Okay.
So that when you are coming, your expectation will not be so high.
Hi.
Yes, there are challenges in every marriage.
Okay.
But as when it comes to being a pastor's wife, you have the church, you have your ministry, and you have your home. So there are three ways you need to have control over.
Okay.
So if we don't train you or prepare you for that, maybe when you come, you'll be disappointed. Because of disappointment, we need to prepare you. Because if you come and you don't get what you want or see what, maybe I can say when you see us going, you think everything is okay.
Rosary.
But when you are prepared in there, you get to know. Then I will tell you my experience. Mama will tell you her experience. Mama Julie will tell you her experience. Then Ma Sharon will also come in. Then you know that, should I go back or go forward? Then you know that you need to be prepared. So actually it is very, very important. Otherwise you wouldn't know. Because there are some people who wish they would have been told. They would have been told. Someone will say, I wish they would have told me that when you marry a pastor, you are going to face challenges. You are going to face criticisms. You are going to face this. You are going to face this. So it is important to ask. Even if nobody call you to counsel you, you need to ask. So that you be fully prepared to face. And I can say emphatically that you need to be prepared towards that role.
As a pastor's wife. Okay. Mrs. Yeboah, the same question.
Yes.
Are there preparations made towards being a pastor's wife?
There are loads of preparations. You need to be sound in your mind. You need to be sound spiritually and physically. Because being a pastor's wife entails a lot of things. If you are not physically fit, you can't go ahead and do what you need to do. Because sometimes you need to step into some people's shoes and act in place of other people just to save the situation. So you need to be smart. You need to be active. Your mind needs to be tough.
Okay.
Because, you see, when you're dealing with church members, you hear all kinds of things that can discourage you.
All right.
But you need to be sound up there to know that no matter what happens and no matter what goes on, I'm still going to stand and be faithful to my calling, be faithful to my husband, and be faithful to the church.
Okay.
So you need a strong mind
Okay.
and a good heart.
Okay.
If your heart is unforgiving,
Wow.
you have to work on that.
Exactly.
Because these are the same people who say things behind your back, coming to you for prayers.
Okay.
If you are an unforgiving person, you cannot become a successful pastor's wife. For that one, I can bet my last coin on that one.
Okay.
Because so much happens in ministry. And if you don't let go, you can never be an effective Osofumame.
Okay.
So I'll just come up with these three.
All right. So, to our singles out there, to become a pastor's wife is not an easy task. But if you work towards it, and it's a calling, you will achieve that goal. Mrs. Boyne, what are the advantages of being a pastor's wife?
Thank
Do
you
have
very
any
much.
benefits comparing yourself to your colleagues who are not married to pastors and you that you are married to a pastor? Have you benefited?
A lot.
Okay.
Even if I have not benefited financially,
Okay.
I have met a lot. I've got the exposure.
All right.
I've met a lot of people I wouldn't have met in life.
Okay.
Though I was strong in the ministry of God before getting married to my husband.
Okay.
But supposing I had not married a pastor, would I have been able to come this far
Okay.
spiritually?
Yes.
So the advantages are enormous.
All right.
We don't talk of money. We talk of spirituality.
All right.
Because having a good relationship with your God is all that we need. And we have had it. And I have it now.
Okay.
So my heart is at peace.
All right.
Because when it comes to prayers, I don't get tired.
Okay.
When it comes to reading the word of God, I don't get tired.
Okay.
And when it comes to being kind
Okay.
to church members or to family members, I'm not tired of doing it. Because all these things all these virtues are found in the word of God.
Okay.
And that is what my leaders did.
Okay.
And in the same way do I have to portray.
All right.
So having advantages of being a pastor's wife, we can't end it today. Because the people we meet day in, day out, I wouldn't have met them, as I've already said.
Okay.
And it has built me spiritually.
All right.
And come me into contact with my children. I now have time for my children. Training our children in a way they should go. At first, they used to say pastors' wives, children are spoiled. But we have realized that when our husbands don't have time for them as they are supposed to be, we must be there for them.
Okay.
So it is an advantage for me to have contact with my children all the time.
Okay.
Yes, not because my husband is on the disadvantaged side,
Okay.
but I know having contact with my children all the time is an advantage to me. And I'm able to train them and to train other people's children and to be a good counselor as well.
Okay.
And people have benefited a lot from me.
Okay.
It might not be in money wise, but in cash and kind.
Kind. All right.
Thank you.
Mrs. Yeboah,
Yes.
advantages of being a pastor's wife.
There's so many advantages.
Okay.
The first one that comes to mind is the honor that people give you.
All right.
When you're a pastor's wife, wherever you get to, people honor you as a mother. And honestly, I haven't had to queue for some things for a long time, which is on the candid side of life. That the moment they say, oh, Sofa Mami, come, let's do this for you. The honor that comes with it is much, much. I mean, it's impressive and it's a blessing. And the advantage also is that it helps you to always be on your toes spiritually.
All right.
Because you need to be an intercessor for your husband, an intercessor for your children, an intercessor for the church. So even if you don't know how to pray, you will have to double your steps and learn how to pray. And it's an advantage because it brings you closer to God at every given time. And that is the advantage of being a pastor's wife.
So, to our fellow women out there, a pastor's wife have greater advantages. They are able to get closer to God. Their children are trained well, and they have Anna wherever they find themselves. Mrs. Wine, can you please help us identify the disadvantage associated with this position, if there are any, being a pastor's wife? Are there any disadvantages as a pastor's wife?
Thank you. Can we say there are challenges?
Okay.
Can be challenges, can be the disadvantage.
Advantages, all right.
Yeah. And I'm asking because we also have challenges.
Yes, as a pastor's wife.
Yes, as pastor's wife. Once you are, the marriage is a human institution.
Okay.
And definitely we are bound to have such disadvantages.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to transfer of pastors. They don't even consult them.
Okay.
And when it happens like that, the stress that you go through as a wife,
Okay.
the stress your children go through.
Okay.
Thank God, Peace Chapel, we don't go on transfer frequently.
Okay.
But as for me, my husband has been on transfer so many times.
Okay.
So anytime he's on transfer, you must also be there.
There.
Your children must also be there. Whether the place is favorable or not favorable, your children must be there. And when it comes to that, you know, you don't get the actual compensation for your relocation.
Okay.
So when it happens like that, then financial difficulties.
All right.
What do I do? You change your children's school. You change the environment. A lot of things that your children will have to learn from that environment you have relocated to. They are all challenges and disadvantage on our side.
Okay.
But this is your calling.
All right.
So you need to be ready at all time.
Okay.
So once I know my husband can be transferred at any time, then I must make up my mind that this can happen to me at any time.
Anytime.
So I must tune my children's mind towards it.
Okay.
Your father can be static here. We can move.
All right.
So be ready. Anytime he's moving, we are all moving. I'm not the type who will let your husband go and I will be in my comfort zone. I have to follow him everywhere.
Okay.
Even if you are on the sea, we have to go.
Okay.
So disadvantages are there for us. And then also loneliness.
Okay.
There are some whose husbands don't even have time for them, especially the first ladies.
Wow.
Their husbands are always out there taking care of their sheep, but they are always lonely. So when it comes to that, then you know you are stressed.
Wow.
Something maybe you were not even expecting. It has come to play. So what do? It's also a disadvantage on our side. And criticisms from the church. The very people you help them, they are the very people you will hear them talking ill about you. When it happens like that, you are disheartened. You don't know whether to go forward or to continue to help people. So when it happens like that, then it's the woman who hears a lot. And if you hear it, what should you do? Sometimes you feel like smacking, you feel like slapping, you feel like reacting, but we got to be proactive. All because we have the Spirit of God in us. That works for us. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what to do. We thank God that we are able to work on our weakness, on those disadvantages for our good.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mrs. Yeboah, how does it feel to be a pastor's wife?
Well, it's not easy being a pastor's wife. As Mrs. Vine said, you get double lenses when people are looking at you. you are scrutinized at all times. Sometimes you're probably just not in the mood. Okay? Even when you are not feeling well, people are expecting you to be running around, smiling, doing everything. Sometimes you are forced to become a hypocrite, which is a disadvantage because we've been called to be children of the light, children of truth. But you are forced to put up a front because the moment people see you are down, all kinds of things go out exactly about you. So that is one disadvantage of being a pastor's wife. The other thing is that once you're a pastor's wife, your husband is everybody's father. They call in the morning, afternoon, noon, night, midnight, dawn. Sometimes in these situations, your sleep is disturbed. Sometimes your husband wakes you up, sweetheart, join forces with me. Let's pray for this individual. So honestly, sometimes you are just not yourself. Okay, because there's a lot of demand on you. It takes strength from you. It draws strength from you. It takes your time to be able to solve a lot of problems and to make sure that every other person is okay. But sometimes after all this, you are not okay. You spend sleepless nights praying for people, and during the day when you're supposed to be active, you're a human being, so you get sleepy. You understand? So you realize that you're always stressed, you're always tired. But I mean, the grace of God is more than sufficient for us. We go through all these, but we still manage to keep going and then keep fighting for the best to be done for us and for the members of the church and for anyone who comes around us.
All right. So, being a pastor's wife is not an easy task. There are challenges. And some of the challenges are just going, you have to be transferred, your children's schools and stuff are affected. But despite all that, God is there to help you. So to our singles out there who have been called or have it in their mind to marry pastors, please don't let this discourage you, okay? This is why. When it comes to our normal life, you being a trained teacher and a pastor's wife, how do you manage?
Thank you very much. Being a trained teacher and a pastor's wife, it has helped me a lot. Because whatever I'm called to do, because I have upper hand on it, I'm able to train my children the right way. And then especially being a teacher and a mother, I'm able to manage my children the way I can manage other students as well. And I've learned a lot about children when it comes to child psychology, when it comes to educational psychology. You have all that in play. So blending that one in the Bible helps us a lot to be able to train our children. So it hasn't been difficult at all with the help of God.
All right. Okay. Mrs. Yeboah, where can the line be drawn between relating to your husband and a pastor? Drawing the line between he being a husband to you and a pastor.
You see, when you're married to a man of God, know that the God factor in the marriage demands extra honor. I don't joke with my husband. I honor him because he's a man of God. And honestly, if my husband wasn't a pastor, I'll still honor him. But probably sometimes I'll slip. You understand? But the fact that I know that he's a man of God, I'm always conscious of the God factor in order not to offend God. Because sometimes, if you're not careful as a wife, you touch the man of God, you're touching God himself. And it can bring whole loads of punishments or whatever, however we decide to call it, on you. So you must know that He's a man of God. You draw the line when things probably are going out of hand.
Okay.
When you probably can have quality time with your husband, to take care of him, to feed him well, to pop him up properly.
Okay.
Then you need to let him know that, for now, you are my husband.
Okay.
When I say that you should spend time with me, you have to at least get some little time for me.
All right.
Then you need to bring in the, what do you call it, the limitations or whatever line you need to draw. Because sometimes it's too much. When your husband spends so much time in church and you don't even have him at home. So you start drawing the line and begin to put in some strategies just to get him, do you understand, to be a husband, not only your pastor. So a time comes when you need to draw the line. But in every marriage, there should be honor, there should be respect, and a pastor's own is actually escalated.
Wow.
So that's a little I can say about that one. Thank you.
When it comes to our world, before you go married to a pastor, you had a lifestyle. Then the calling came, or the time came for you to marry. You have a style of dressing. So when it comes to a pastor's wife, how should a pastor's wife dress?
Thank you very much. According to the Bible, every woman of God should dress modestly.
Okay.
So once you're a pastor's wife, you are also a Christian. So in the same way. And you have to be you.
Okay.
And Ellen has to be real. I don't have to pretend as if I'm an angel.
All right.
So I would take on a robe that gets to my ankle. And yet I wouldn't, the heart is not like that.
Okay.
I only have to dress well in my heart and outwardly. So the way I'm dressed here, that's how my heart also should be.
Okay.
Outwardly, you should know that modesty should be the way to go.
Okay.
You shouldn't overdo it.
Okay.
That people will criticize you.
Okay.
You shouldn't, because you're a pastor's wife, you go borrow dresses or something you don't have, you force yourself to get.
Okay.
On Sunday services, you want to be the number one, to be seen anytime you appear.
During prayer.
And we can easily identify you with your long nails, your long, whatever. And that one doesn't come in at all. You are a pastor's wife, and yet you compete with church members, the way they dress. That one is no modesty. And they are looking up to you. So when they dress well and it's nice, fine. You must also dress in a way that will go with your position. That is all. It's not about overdoing it for everyone to know that you are a pastor's wife.
Okay. This is why you had a lifestyle before you got married to a pastor.
Yes.
So comparing your lifestyle in dressing and now being a pastor's wife, how should a pastor's wife dress?
Well, honestly, I've been a church girl since I was little, okay? I was virtually raised in the church. So I always had this mentality that I always needed to have my clothes all the way to my ankle.
Okay.
But when I got married to a pastor, I realized that it's not everywhere that you can go with a long dress.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to have dresses which come up a bit so that at least you can maneuver your way through the crowd on staircases and stuff.
Okay.
So then I realized that, no, I need to change and then step up. Okay. I used to dress and look like Efikasi Mabawa before, honestly. So for me, my husband likes nice things.
Okay.
So I realized that I needed to do a little switch.
Okay.
Not to go into the negative, no.
All right.
But to dress appropriately for wherever I'm going.
Okay.
And that is something that once it's modest, I wear it.
Okay.
So I don't really have a specific thing that I say probably I have to wear all the time. Something which is nice, something which is modest. And the bottom line is don't overdo it.
Okay.
Because in everything you do, there should be some form of, modesty attached to it. So that's what I can say.
So as a pastor's wife, you're an example to your congregation. So when it comes to dressing, it should be modest and presentable to the world, that the youth and the congregation at large can follow. Mrs. Wine, what are some of the expectations of a pastor's wife?
Expectations of a pastor's wife are many.
Okay.
Because you expect your husband to be there at home, praying with you, sharing the word of God with you, and your children.
Okay.
But we don't always get it like that.
Wow.
Because you are now the osofu in the house.
Okay.
Because your husband has to take care of the church members as well.
Okay.
But once you know it, you don't complain.
All right.
And one thing is, I expect that I will have somebody that I can confide in as a pastor's wife. Because normally, we don't disclose our displeasures. And we don't disclose our problems to church members. If you are a pastor's wife and you are going to share your problem with someone, how do you expect the person to see you and your husband?
Wow.
And I have my name, but Boahen has been attached to my name. So because I'm Mrs. Boahen, when you are going anywhere, they know this is Mrs. Boahen. It's no more Ellen.
Okay.
So I need somebody I can confide in. So much so that the person will not betray me in any way. So I pray for that all the time. So that in terms of difficulties, I can consult. And I need to have a mentor in the church that can mentor me. So that I will know where to go when there are difficulties. And my expectation is that God will bless us. As we are doing his work, we will not be disappointed in any way.
Okay.
That is my point now.
Okay. This is one. The question to you. What are some of the expectations as a pastor's wife?
Well, there are so many expectations. One of my expectations is that the Lord will keep my husband.
Okay.
See, the Bible said that a good name is better than riches.
Okay.
So my topmost expectation is that the Lord will continually keep him as he has kept him, to make him a better person, day in, day out. The other expectation is that my children will also not lose out on having a father. There will be more times where my husband will get to spend more time with his children as he wishes to do, not being disturbed or having to do other things. Another expectation is that we'll enjoy life as a couple. And that's one of my expectations, that we'll continually be happy, we'll continually have each other's back, we'll continually uphold each other, so that both of us can stay afloat at all times. So these are a few of my expectations.
Wow. But let me come in. Has it been so?
To tell you honestly, it hasn't been bad at all. Because the little time we have, we spend time with the kids, we spend time with each other. And by grace, the Lord has helped him to live in a certain way, in a certain manner, which is upholding the name of the Lord. And I wish that the Lord will continually hold us the way we're going. So it hasn't been bad at all. It's been great.
It's been great. Thank God. All right. Mrs. Wine, as the pastor's wife, how do you relate with the congregation?
Thank you very much. As a pastor's wife, I must not be discriminatory, in a sense that I shouldn't be everyone. Our mommy used to tell us, Mrs. Theresa Adolfo, everyone is your friend, but everyone is not your friend. So if you are relating, you should know your limits and your boundaries. I relate well with the church members, all right.
Okay.
But you shouldn't be so close to the extent that you discuss your family matters with them.
Okay.
And you shouldn't go and sit in somebody's workplace or somebody's house and say you are visiting the person, you'll be talking because the person is your friend.
Friend. Okay.
You should know your limits.
Okay.
You are a pastor's wife. You don't need to be so close to particular person for people to expect that this, because this person has money, because the person has money, he's your friend. Because this person doesn't have money, he's not your friend.
Okay.
When it comes to that, then people will start criticizing you,
Okay.
and it affects your ministry.
Okay.
Because every time, whatever you are doing, you must think about your ministry first,
Okay.
so that nobody will tarnish the image of God.
Okay.
Yes. You must relate well with everyone
Okay.
in the church. When it comes to normal greetings, you should do it.
Okay.
Auntie Sharon made mention of, even if you don't want to smile, you have to smile.
Wow.
Because sometimes you don't know whether to smile or not, but once you have met your church member, you
have
got
to.
to smile.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Mrs. Sharon Yeboah, what do people expect from you as a pastor's wife?
As a pastor's wife, everybody is expecting you to be accommodating. No matter what issues are brought before you, they expect you to be just. They expect you to be honest with them. And they expect you to sympathize with them. So that is what people are expecting from us. And truly, if you're a mother, you sympathize with people, you encourage them, you counsel them, but they're expecting that you show them a lot of love.
Okay. All right. The same, Mrs. Yeboah, please. Is it okay to keep a friend? Is there a category to choose from? As a pastor's wife, are you to keep a friend? And are you supposed to be selective, or you have types of people you are supposed to relate with as friends?
Okay. Well, as a pastor's wife, you definitely have people who have gone ahead of you.
Okay.
So those people are your mentors. They are people that inspire you. They're people you can talk to about everything.
Okay.
In order for them to help you to be able to come out of whichever situation you, the Sopomami, may be in. There are people who can also be your co-equals
Okay.
that you can share a joke with. Definitely, it's going to be tough for you to go to your mentor and be sharing jokes. But definitely, when it's someone your age, someone, who relates to you in the same vein, what you can do is that you relate to them. You share jokes together. You can share a conversation. The other people, too, who probably are younger than you, who also, through their experiences, you are also able to master the work that you do in terms of counseling. So for me, all these people are not my friends.
All right.
Okay? They are people that I talk to.
Okay.
But to tell you honestly and frankly, my friends have been my siblings. I have 4 other sisters who have been there for me, and I'd rather tell everything to them
Okay.
than to an outsider
All right.
who may be quick to betray me.
Pay you. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Mrs. Ellen Boy, is it okay to keep a friend, or is there a category to choose from?
Thank you very much. Yes, it's okay to keep a friend, because a friend may even be more helpful than a sibling. That's my take on that. Because friends are always there for you. That is what the Bible says. And when you have a friend, the category you are to choose from, it is also important.
Okay.
Because looking, for instance, you are a pastor's wife. You can't go and take any other person to be your friend than a pastor's wife.
Okay.
Somebody who has been there before. It's not like the person being a mentor. Mentor is there, all right.
Okay.
But if you have a friend, you can share your problems with. A friend that, the one who empathize with you, and you also empathize with the person. You sympathize with the person also sympathizes with you. Then you know you have a friend.
Okay.
A friend loveth at all times.
All right.
So there is no way you can say you can stay without a friend.
Okay.
Though my number one friend is my husband.
Yes.
Because for now, he's the only person I talk to.
Okay.
So he can be my friend.
Yes.
I can choose Mrs. Owusu as my friend.
Okay.
Because I can share my thoughts with.
Okay.
Somebody you know you can flow with.
Okay.
And they help even in the ministry.
Okay.
It's not everything you have to keep to yourself. And if you are taking a friend, there is no way Ellen will take a drunkard as a friend.
Wow.
I will take somebody in the ministry
No.
that will push me, and someone who is also higher than me, because I haven't reached anywhere.
Okay.
So where people have gotten to, I can also be there.
Okay.
Because there is this pyramid. I can't remember when we were in the university, Living with a Distinction.
Okay.
It's a book one of our professors wrote. As you move along, the people that you relate with become lesser. It goes this way. So when it happens like that, as you are moving to the top, you move with the top people. I'm not saying those that you started with are downtrodden now, but yet you can get something from the top that will push you ahead than coming down. So even if you have a friend or a sister who used to play a lot with the old friends they used to have, you know that person is not okay enough. But if the person lives or relates well with somebody who is higher than him or her, you know that this person is aspiring to be somebody.
Okay.
So in fact, it is very important to have a friend.
Okay.
And your friend should be more closer to you. And my number one friend is my husband.
Wow.
I've already said it.
Okay.
I don't go anywhere. I'm not the outing type.
Okay.
So if friends are, even classmates are meeting, you won't see me there.
Okay.
But you see me in the house.
Okay.
That is it. So a friend is very, very, very important
Okay.
in our ministry.
Okay. Okay. So to my singles out there, as a pastor's wife, your number one friend should be your husband. But the most of all is God. Okay. Mrs. Sharon Yeboah, how best can misunderstanding be resolved
Can you clarify that a bit too?
when it comes to the setup in the house, then in the congregation? Those two. The setup in the house and in the congregation. How can we resolve misunderstanding?
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll start from the church.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very straightforward and frank person. I say what I feel. I say what I mean.
Okay.
And so I'm the type who likes to confront issues. Okay? Probably I hear something. I come to you and I speak to you about it. And then I'm settled in my spirit.
Okay.
I don't come fighting, but we talk about whatever happened.
Okay.
Sometimes it's best to leave some things untouched. We have instances like that. But for me personally, when things are going wrong, I come up to the person and then I prompt the person and then I think we go. So misunderstandings, honestly, till today, I've not really had misunderstandings with people because I let them know how I feel
Okay.
and I tell them what I need to tell them, and which they all know that is the truth. So we are able to solve problems very easily without any problem. At home, honestly, for misunderstandings, I can't say I've had much.
Okay.
In the 14 years I've been married,
Married.
we have issues. We may disagree on one or two things. But for me, I'm vocal. So I like to talk things out and trash things out and let the way I feel be known. If I need to apologize, I apologize.
Okay.
So it's just about being honest and being straightforward. It's easier to handle misunderstandings with honesty
Okay.
than in the way of pretense. So for me, misunderstandings are quite easy for me to solve. I approach it, I deal with it, and we all go.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Helen Wine, what makes one a supportive pastor's wife?
Thank you very much. For one to be a supportive pastor's wife, the one has to be seen that he has also had a call from God. Okay. You can't say that it's my husband who went to Bible school, so he alone should do his work. You must be supportive in a sense that when your husband is at church, you are also there. You don't let people see your husband's nakedness, especially in financial matters. Okay. If your husband is not having money, don't let people know. Okay. Don't discuss your husband outside. Otherwise, people will know his nakedness. Okay. So you try your best to help him out so that he's covered all the time. Okay. Like my husband doesn't have money. Does it mean that if I have money, I should keep it? I must support him. Okay. They are always in the midst of other people, or they are always leading. Okay. Should your husband go out there dressed shabbily? No. You must know how to help your husband out. Okay. When it comes to the ministry, when you are to lead a prayer, you are there. Okay. When you are to sing, you are there. Of course, it's not everybody who can sing. But the little you can do, you must do it. Okay. If you are doing it, he will know that you don't know how to sing, so he will not ask you to sing again. Okay. But if you are doing prayer meetings and you are in the house, you went to your Bible school, so go. Oh. It's not the best. Okay. And when it comes to relating to church members, some women have actually collapsed their husbands' churches. Okay. Though it's not their personal property, but they were called at the same time, but because they did not support their husbands. So women who have been able to withstand the test of time with their husbands, you can see that they've been supportive, and their husbands' churches are growing. Being church overseers, general overseers, if I should put it that way, their husbands are doing so well because behind them there's a woman. That woman must be you or me who is supporting the husband. Okay. But if your husband churches or you plant a church and it collapses, people will point fingers at you. Where was the wife? When they even accuse him of this, where were you? Okay. You should be with your husband. Your husband will have an appointment somewhere. You say you will not go. Always your husband should go. You will not go with the husband. Then it means you are not supportive. Your children, you want your husband to pay before or put money down before you feed your children. You are not a supportive wife. Okay. Not necessarily being a pastor's wife. Those out there listening to us, even if you are not a pastor's wife and your husband's salary or income is not that much, don't think it's only your husband who has to pay fees, who has to bring up your children, who has to take up such responsibilities. Be there for your husband. Then we can see that you are a supportive wife. Okay, all right.
Mrs. Sharon Yeboah, there is a school of thought that it is difficult to be a pastor's wife. How true is that?
I'll say yes and no. Okay. It's sometimes difficult. I can't say it's difficult through and through. Okay. I'd like to bring in this. Recently, something happened. Someone said a lot of things about me recently, and I heard. And that same person needed help. I actually drove to the person's house to help the person out. It's difficult when you want it to be difficult. When you're a pastor's wife, you need to be forgiving. If you've already forgiven the person, it's not going to be difficult for you to give a helping hand or support somebody who's offended you. Because honestly, if you want to look at things critically, there's a lot of offenses when it comes to ministry. A lot of people leave church because they're offended. Okay. So if you're a pastor's wife and you decide you want to hold on to everything, definitely you are not helping the situation. And nothing is going to be successful with that kind of attitude. You understand? So if we say we sometimes have difficulties, yes, we do have difficulties, but it's up to you to overcome those difficulties by showing love. When love goes ahead of you, it tends to diffuse a lot of things that could have turned out to be problematic even before you get there. So, yes, it can be difficult. No, in the sense that when you have the right mind, the right attitude, and a heart that is so big, you can accommodate anything, and it won't be difficult for you. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
You have to have the right mind, the right attitude. Then it wouldn't be difficult for you. Mrs. Boahin, having too many people in the home, does it take away or affect your privacy as a pastor's wife?
Thank you very much. This is one of the challenges of pastors, especially those in the mission houses. Because when you are in a mission house, everyone think they can get there for help, and they will come. Unlike you having other people's children staying with you. If somebody is, you have a lot of people around you in the house staying, I don't think it will affect your privacy in any way. But people who troop in unawares, then they will be in there for you. Those can be described as those who really make it affect your privacy. But having a lot of people, I don't think it will affect your privacy in any way. Because even sometimes, when you have a lot of people around you, they come to help you. Even the mission houses I'm talking about, because it's closer to the chapel. They will come, they will do this for you, they will do, then you will be there with your husband. So the work that you'll be doing out there, they will be helping you out. And then you need to know that what is privacy? What privacy have you got to hide? You are there for people. So when people come to you, there isn't a need for you to say that they are interfering with your privacy. Because as a minister, as a pastor, this is what you are called to do. To relate well with people so that people will be able to come closer to you and share their problems or their ideas with you. Yes. So it does not affect, we don't even have privacy at all. It can be a challenge though, but it isn't supposed to be so. Thank you.
All right. This is Sharon Yeboah, the same question.
What I'll say is that too many people in the house, it does affect your privacy at a point. Because we're encouraged by our mentors, our Mama Theresa's and Mama Julie's, that when you're home, sometimes there are certain clothes you need to put on for your husband. There are certain atmospheres you need to create in order to spark something in the marriage. And when there are too many people in the house, you definitely don't have your privacy. It can be for a season, probably when there's waiting or something going on, fasting or something, and your house is the venue, it's fine. But when it's consistent and there are always people around you, I don't think it helps. You don't have any privacy. And unless the Lord is asking you to do it, probably to spend time with some people and pray, I don't think you should entertain too many people in your house. Not for ministry, not for anything. Because when you do that, it affects your children, it affects the wife, and it affects the pastor himself. So, in a way, sometimes it's not too good for the marriage.
All right. Mrs. Ellen Wine, please give us your final words.
Thank you very much. Tonight has been a blessing, and I know you who is listening, you are also blessed. Because if you want to be a pastor's wife, I didn't think of becoming one. But along the line, I've become. So if you are aspiring to be, if I should put it that way, then you need to have a mentor. That mentor can coach you so well so that you become a good wife to your pastor. And not because you are a pastor's wife. Respect, honor, And that of... Okay, so I'll end by saying that be a good wife to your husbands, especially my colleague pastors' wives. God bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Sharon, your final words.
Yes. What I want to say is that it's not difficult to be a pastor's wife. If you're a good Christian and you have a good heart towards people, you can make it as a pastor's wife. You don't need to have everything or be a perfect human being. All you need is a heart and a mind that is focused on what you want to do. And it doesn't matter what obstacle and circumstances that come your way, you make it because grace abounds and the Lord's grace is more than sufficient for all of us. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, the Chronicles of a Pastor's Wife. It is an easy task if you are determined. You just have to exhibit the fruit of the Spirit. And with the grace of God, you will accomplish being a pastor's wife. This has been Family Matters. And to get more of our subsequent programs, you can always visit us on our social media handles and on our IG page, Peace Chapel International, at Facebook, Peace Chapel Worldwide, Twitter, Peace Chapel, and then on YouTube, Peace Chapel International. Please, tomorrow, that will be Sunday, you're going to have our first and second services. The first service starts at 6:30 and ends at 9. Then the second service starts from 10:30 to 11:30. In the course of the week, from Monday to Thursday, during lunchtime, we have Divine Encounter. So at your lunchtime, you can always get to Facebook, that is Peace Chapel Worldwide, and have your encounter with God during your lunchtime. Then on Thursdays, we have our online Bible school. Just visit us, and you get well informed with the Word of God. Then on next week, Saturday again, we will join you with our Family Matter program at 7 p.m. To us again, see you next week with another wonderful, exciting edition of Family Matters. To our guests, we say God bless you. Then to our technical men, we say God bless you. See you next week. Bye for now.
Amazing word.
Ebenezer! Ebenezer! The God you serve is a rewarder and a recorder. Revelation 22:12. In this world, anything can happen to somebody. Therefore, if you are standing, be careful. Don't mind your mockers. Mind your God. Make Jesus your source. Don't make decision without him. Believe in God. If you don't keep your hope alive, you can never develop your faith. Anybody who use any charm or witch doctor against you and your family, back to the sender.
Amazing word with Bishop Bright Michael Adolfo this and every Sunday at 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. on UTV. Locate Peace Chapel International at the Nyamiche Junction, Okra, opposite Motorway Mother Care. Peace Chapel International, our Father's house. Peace. Shalom.
Amazing word.